Hello and Happy New Year and welcome back. This is the second video in my series where I take a look at some of my old concept art, and today we're doing Donkey Kong Country. In case you didn't know, Donkey Kong Country is one of the first games to feature pre-rendered graphics. The process basically involves scribbling down ideas, building a 3D model, and then converting that 3D model by rendering it out as a sprite. The overall effect was absolutely mind-blowing and way ahead of its time, and Rare were one of the first companies to produce graphics this way. And I was very lucky because I was given the opportunity to recreate Shigeru Miyamoto's Donkey Kong character for the game. I really didn't think there was anything wrong with a Donkey Kong character in the first place, but when I got the chance to recreate him, I was really excited about it. So these are the original sketches. There's nothing super glamorous here, they're just scribbles on pieces of paper, but they're really important because it shows how the characters were developed from an early stage. I mean, some of these characters are swinging around in the jungle today. They just look a lot slicker. So without further ado, let's delve in and take a look. And remember, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos with more stuff like this. So here are the original scribbles which were used as a basis for us to model our 3D graphics for Donkey Kong Country. There's not a lot here really, it's just a lot of scribbles, and as I say, they're very crude, but it was all we needed back in the day before we began modeling our characters up. We just need a couple of sketches so that we could refer to them and say, yeah, we want a frog, and then we'd probably consult our natural history books or whatever we had on our desks way before the internet, and we'd look at all the finer details and take that information from the books. But yeah, the basis of our ideas for the characters would start off something like this. And as you can see, these are the roughest of sketches. I mean, if you were to present this as concept art nowadays, people would just laugh at you. But it was enough, and it did the job for us back in the day. So that's Winky the Frog. And here we've got Rambi, who was originally, I've got written down here, Rhinoceros, which I think was quite a cool name really. I think I did actually share this picture a little while ago, so I wrote what it was on there. But yeah, I think he was originally intended to have a saddle on him. He's got one single horn there. I can't remember whether he ended up with two horns or just a single horn. These stupid hairs on him. Everything just looked kind of silly really originally. And I think once we started building the characters, everything developed its own kind of style. But yeah, more Battletoad's eyes here. A meaner looking version of the character. But that was Rambi. And we've got Espresso the ostrich. Fairly generic looking bird character here. A few notes on here just says bigger, wider, longer. That's about as much information as we'd ever put on anything. Sorry, I'm going all over the place with these. Just lots of silly scribbles. And then they were of course turned into 3D models. Yeah, I think there was a decision to put trainers on him here. So this is a very early sketch. So these are the faxes which came over from Nintendo to help us design or redesign the Donkey Kong character and come up with the companion Diddy Kong. They were very, very helpful. And as you can see, there's just a selection of different DK pictures there, which they wanted us to refer to. I think they wanted us to change his proportion so that he worked better as a platformer rather than a villain at the top of the screen. And yeah, the rest is history. But these are quite significant because these are the faxes which changed the face and shape of Donkey Kong. We've got a snake character here. Looks as though I was going to call them silly names: Spitz, Snort. This one's whistling by the look of it. He's making some kind of noise with his rattle, maybe. I think I wanted him to perhaps hypnotize you as you approach them. Develop their HUD on them, so I don't know whether these guys actually made it. Spitz crawls out in front of you, spits venom, hot foot, momentarily stuns Kong and reduces his energy. It comes out of the trees like this. I don't know whether we actually did that. I don't think we did. They're quite aggressive looking snakes. So spitter snakes, different to normal. Move along snake, HUD lifts up and it spits and stuns you. Quality. So here's the Donkey Kong character. There's not a lot of sketches here, but these are just pencil sketches underneath the actually original pencil sketches, which I scribbled down to use as, I think, an image plane, which would have been imported into Maya, which was Power Animator at the time, to build the 3D model. So you needed a front and a side and a back view of the character, and these were what I used as my original reference. So there's the original design, which looks fantastic anyway, and there's my kind of cubic design there. It's quite boxy because we wanted him to sit well in a 3D platforming environment, and we didn't want any bits overhanging. We needed to make sure that it played well and there was good hits, and so we wanted to keep him quite sort of boxy and sort of nice and compact. Also, I think because I did a lot of NES graphics, I got that used to making things in a very compact manner and trying to keep as few sprites as possible. So I think there was a tendency for me to design the characters quite sort of boxy. And then as you can see, here's the very crude looking DK image, which you can see how his joins here don't blend from one part into another organically. It's just sort of spheres and lots of sorts of primitive shapes put together. And I think we trimmed, there was a feature which allowed us to trim overlaying shapes, and so that gave him these kind of cuffs here for his hair. And looks crude here, but when it was scaled down into sort of 64 by 32 pixels or whatever size he was, you didn't see all of these little joins. And when it was also only using 16 colors, the whole thing looked great. So yeah, these are the pictures that we used to model the character. It's got a much bigger head there on my original sketch. Huge head, much bigger than the head he's got today. And there's another design. He's very, very Battletoad-esque. Little ideas there and beating his chest. And then finally here I've got the Kremlin characters. So obviously it's some kind of mutant crocodile, but this was actually intended for another game way before we started working on Donkey Kong Country. And I think we sort of carried the idea of the Kremlin sort of race, if you like, along, and we says, well, they'll fit quite nicely in the jungle. And so we'll develop these characters and turn them into the Kremlins that you now know of today. And you see some of the sketches here were very crude and very sketchy, but they're also very compact, just like DK. So I think we originally intended them to look like little soldiers, and they've got sort of camouflage markings on their bodies. And yeah, I think that'll do for today. I think we've had a quick look. It's concept art, but it's old school concept art, and it was what was needed back in the day. I don't think you'd be wowing anybody nowadays with this kind of concept art, but it just shows you that it's all about the ideas really, and not about your skill level. So if you don't think that you're good enough, just keep trying. Your drawing skills will improve. Mine certainly improved. Keep going, keep improving, keep practicing, and you will get there. Thank you very much. If you want to follow us on Twitter, take a look at the links below, and remember to subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this. Bye.